Today, we are going to prepare a grilled prawn or shrimp with garlic and parsley.
Hello, I'm Pelayo, and this is Saladolandia.
Today, we are going to prepare a ham or a shrimp.
Delicious.
It's a version of grilled ham or shrimp with garlic and parsley that's going to surprise you.
You're so super good. Pay attention, we're starting. And to make them, we're going to use these ingredients. I'm going to make half a kilo of prawns or shrimp, 4 or 5 cloves of garlic. We're going to need a good bunch of parsley, plenty of coarse or rock salt, and a little olive oil. First, prepare the ingredients. We're going to make a garlic and parsley paste. So we take 4 or 5 cloves of garlic and we're going to chop them, so that it's easier to crush them later. Once the garlic is finely chopped, we're going to do the same with the parsley. In this case, a good bunch of fresh parsley. If you can get it fresh, much better than the one that already comes, dry and chopped, so chop it well. Once you have it, we're going to add everything into a mortar. There it is. First the parsley that I had on this board, and then the garlic. In it goes. And let's crush it, as they say. We're going to use the mortar for exactly what it was designed for. Making creams and sauces. So crush and stir until everything turns into a paste with a more or less uniform color. Once you have everything well crushed, add a drizzle of oil and stir again. This way, everything comes together, and this is going to be the paste that we are going to use at the end to give it a super powerful flavor. Now, I'm going to tell you another trick. Look at the prawns or shrimps besides washing them well. I really like to cut both their antennas and their little legs. It's very easy to do. And not only do they look more aesthetic, but they are also easier to eat later. So,
these few seconds are worth it.
Once you cut off the antennas and legs, you rinse it under the tap again to remove any that have stuck, which usually happens. And that's it. And now we're going to cook. As always, when we grill something, the heat is at maximum. Then we pour a generous drizzle of oil into the pan. There it is. And we're going to cover it with coarse salt. We're going to cook the prawns directly on that salt.
So we're going to add the salt.
And stir it so it cooks a bit. When all the salt is at a good temperature, then it's time to cook. Pay attention here. This is the key moment. We have to do it with love, with tranquility. Put a good layer of salt, let it cook slightly, and that bed is going to be what we cook on. Will the prawns or king prawns turn out luxurious? Well, yes, that's the system. So we're going to cover the entire pan with prawns or king prawns. Whatever we're going to use, in my case, it's king prawns. And that's it.
We're going to cook them long enough so that you notice that the part facing the fire is crispy. And then we flip them over to cook.
Also, on the other side, they will take a couple of minutes on each side, more or less. But as I say, it depends on the pan, on the size of the prawn, and also on the power of your fire. So the best thing is to control them. These, for example, we have them practically perfect. So I'm going to take the tongs, although you can easily turn them over with a fork. And we're going to check how they are. On that underside, you see they already have that toasted color. So we're going to get to work and turn them all over. Thanks to being cooked on top of the salt, then you don't have to add anything. The flavor penetrates the shell and they turn out great.
So, a little bit of work turning each one and cooking this other side.
As I tell you, they are going to take more or less the same time on both sides. So now you can know how long they are going to take. Another important detail is that when we take them out, there it is. We will possibly have consumed the oil, so it is very likely that we will have to add a little more with each portion we cook.
We have to pay attention to those details so that they are all juicy, delicious, and just right.
When they are golden, you can see how their shell turns white, slightly toasted, and I can assure you that they release an aroma that is simply impressive. If you notice that the salt turns a little golden, don't worry, that's normal, and it leaves a bit of flavor. Just like on the grill, which doesn't hurt it at all, so don't worry. As I said, we take out our prawns or shrimp, add another splash of oil, stir a bit again, so it spreads, and cover again. Logically, we're going to repeat this operation as many times as we need to cook the shrimp or prawns we want to make today. I think I'm going to need to do it in 3 batches, but I already know the system. Brown them on one side, flip them when they're ready, and wait. The hard work is already done, so all we have left is to cook a little bit. Thanks to the fact they cook in a few minutes on each side, we'll finish quite quickly.
However, never forget that the fire must be at its maximum and the extractor hood at full power to absorb all the smoke.
Now I'll show you a decorating trick. Look, use a very sharp knife.
We take a lemon in half and we're sticking it almost to the bottom. It doesn't quite go through, but almost. And we're making a kind of triangle. We make a peak, then another peak, and so on. This will allow us that when we finally turn the entire circumference of the lemon, it gives us this effect.
Look how beautiful. Since the lemon won't be flat on the bottom, to make it look completely beautiful, we just have to cut off this part, and thus we will have a flat base to be able to pose our shaped lemon. And why do I want it? Well, because there are many people who like to give a touch of lemon to our prawns or king prawns at the last moment. So, if I add that, am I going to put them in a circle? This idea is great because it's going to match perfectly. You'll see how nice it looks now, as you can see. And with clean hands, I'm placing the prawns on a plate.
By doing it this way, in a circular manner, you can stack some on top of others and put practically as many as you want. If you have a few, you stack a few. And if you have many, you put one on top of the other, always with the head facing inward. And now we're going to take advantage of that paste we had created with garlic and parsley. We're going to drop it directly onto the prawns. And in the time it takes us to eat them, that flavor will have already been absorbed by the prawn and they will be to die for. That's why a strong flavor is added. Why? Well, because it has to be absorbed, and of course, not everything is absorbed, only part of it. So we put a good amount of this parsley and garlic paste on top and let it do its work.
And now the lemon we had prepared? What a beautiful dish. Don't tell me it doesn't look good.
Aromas, colors, flavors, and on top of that, it's beautiful. We have it all.
A super excellent dish that I'm sure if you try it, you're going to repeat it many times because you're going to enjoy it. Did you see how they turn out? They're scandalously good. To be honest, I really love ham and prawns, and some time ago I showed you how to prepare them in the oven.
So we can compare. Which one do you fancy more?
The oven one or the one we just made, grilled with garlic and parsley? Honestly, I can't decide. Let me know down below in the comments. Which one is your favorite, okay?
And besides helping me with that vote, you can
enter this video that you see looks wonderful. Here, you can see the baked prawn with shrimp, and you can click here to subscribe to the channel. Also, activate the little bell, and they will notify you every Thursday and Sunday because we have a new recipe for you. Salty Land.